Okay, Saxon 3 math class, we are ready for lesson 17 today, comparing and ordering, and this is part 1. That means later on there may be some more parts. So let's take a look. In your book, you should be on page 92, touching where it says new concept. It says sometimes we need to compare the costs of different items to find the lowest price. I do that all the time. In this lesson, we will compare amounts of money and arrange amounts of money in order. Okay, top of the next page. We can use comparison symbols to show how we compare money. Okay, now if two amounts are equal, we write an equal sign between the two numbers. But I'm going to teach you a new word. When we say, let's say 2 is equal to 2, I would like for you to say 2 is equivalent to 2. Can you say equivalent? Equivalent. It just means equals, okay? If the amounts are not equal, we can write less than or greater than, okay? Sometimes we can even write a symbol that looks like this. Okay, let's go over the basics first. Equivalent, okay? Now watch this. Sometimes you'll see this. This means not equivalent. Okay, sometimes you'll see this. Do you know how to read that sign? Since we read, Chris, from left to right when we do these, it's less than. You would think whatever is on this side, it must be less than whatever's on this side because the alligator wants to eat the big stuff, right? Chris and Logan, hang on just a minute. And of course, if the number on the left is greater than, then this is the sign we would use. Sometimes you might even see less than and then a line under it. That means less than or equal to. Guess what this means? Greater than or equal to. Yeah. So here are our basic ones, okay? But I wanted you to know there are some more advanced ones out there too that you can use to compare things. So let's go ahead and look at example 1. And it says, track along with me with your finger. Samantha saved her birthday money to buy new skates. She found skates she liked at the superstore for $58. She found the same skates at Bob's Sporting Goods for $72. Write the two prices with a comparison symbol. Where should Samantha buy her skates? So we have to do two things. First, we have to write the two prices with a comparison symbol. Which one was mentioned first? Yeah, the $58 was mentioned first. What price was mentioned second? $72. What comparison symbol needs to go in here? Since I would read $58 is the less than sign. Yes, this is how you would read it. $58 is less than $72. Are we finished? No, because it also said, where should Samantha buy her skates? Now remember about restating. Put your finger on the word you think we should start with when we restate our answer. Where should Samantha buy her skates? Samantha. Okay, there we go. And you will copy straight out of the question. Samantha should buy her Now, the cheapest one was the superstore. And look at that. They capitalized the. It's a part of the store name. The superstore. What goes at the end? Period. You could even keep going and say because they are how many dollars less? Let's do that. Let's get really fancy schmancy. Let's spell because together. Get ready? B-E-C-A-U-S-E, because they are. Now, how do I find out which one's cheaper? Do you know what I do to find the difference? I do what? Difference is a key word for subtract. When I subtract, what do I have to put on the top or write down first? The bigger number, which is $72, minus $58. Now, hold up 2 fingers. Can you take away 8? No! Go to the 7. Say, Mr. 7, can we borrow one from you? He's so nice. He says, sure, I'll become a 6 so that you can become a 12. 12 minus 8, 4. 6 minus 5, 1. So Samantha should buy her skates at the superstore because they are $14 cheaper or less. That's a big difference, isn't it, for one item? All right, let's keep going. They actually drew it out. I don't think you guys need that. You know that 72 is a larger number than 58. And they even showed us on a number line. Okay? That's more proof. Do you always have to give proof with your answer? Yes, it's always a good thing. Now, ding, turn the page and find example 2. And track right along with me. Use your index finger. Mr. Jung is shopping for an airline ticket. A ticket from Blue Skies Airline costs $475. A ticket from Worldwide Airlines costs $425. Which ticket costs more? Write less than or greater than in the circle to complete the comparison. And so, what should I write? If I have to read $475 first, what goes in the comparison symbol? Greater than, yes, greater than, right there. That's right. And they even gave proof. They drew it out. They showed us on a number line. But I'm going to ask you, what is the difference between those two prices? What is the difference between $475 and $425? I want you to, yeah, but how much? Imagine in quarters and ignore the 400 because they both start with 400, right? And imagine you're comparing 75 and 25. Imagine that Gabriel has 25 cents in his hand and Chris has 75 cents in his hand. How much more is the 75? How many quarters? 75 is 3 quarters, but if Gabriel has 1, how many more is the 75? How much is 2 quarters? 50. Okay, you can use that knowledge to help you with this problem. I know we're not talking about cents, we're talking about dollars. But what's the difference between $475 and $425? $50 is the difference. Yeah, I would want to save $50 on an airline ticket. Most definitely, especially if more than one person in your family is going. If just one person was going, you'd save $50. If 2 people were going, you'd save $100. If 3 people were going, you'd save $150. Yeah, do you see? It can really add up, you guys. So being able to compare prices is important. Now look at example 3. Touch the bubble for example 3. Columbus Elementary School 3rd graders sold magazines to raise money for their school. The 3 students who raised the most money won prizes. Lee raised $261, Bud raised $172, Ashley raised $285. Show the total raised by each of these students in order from least to greatest. Okay, so what should I put first? See these 3 totals? We're going from least to greatest. So I need to be thinking least. That's smallest. Which one is it? The $172 is what we're going to write first. And watch this, $172, comma. Okay, what should come next? Good, and be careful, don't say and. $261. And the biggest, the greatest was what? $285. And let's see if that's all they ask us to do is write it in order from least to greatest. That's it. And that's how they did it too. They separated their values and listed them. And look, they actually drew out hundreds, tens, and ones. And it only gets tricky, you guys. Like Lee and Ashley, they were both had 200s, but look, the difference started off in the tens, didn't it? And Lee had 6 tens and Ashley had 8. Okay. That's right. Ashley got top prize. Very good. All right, now let's look at the lesson practice real quickly. We're going to do a few more. A says choose, and how do I read that? What is that sign? Choose. Less than or greater than to compare $29 and $57. So I'm going to write $29 first because they did it, okay? 29 and 57, is that right? What symbols should go in here? Yes, less than, because if we read this left to right, we're going to do it. Everybody together. Get ready. $29 is less than $57. I know you know how to put the alligator eating the big one. I know that. What I don't know is if you can read it from left to right in the correct way. So that's what we're really practicing, okay? Let's look at B. Which costs less, a basketball for $15 or a baseball bat for $30? Basketball. Be careful, which costs less. So your answer will be basketball or baseball bat. What is it? Basketball. A basketball. Good. You have to listen to what they're asking for. Okay, C, choose. How do I say that? Less than or greater than to compare $193 and $163. Okay, so I have to write $193 first because that's what they mentioned first, and $163. What symbol should I write, Logan? If I read it from left to right, I say $193 is greater than. You got it. Everybody together, get ready. $193 is greater than $163. Very good. A and D. Write these numbers in order from least to greatest. Do you ever think they're going to ask, write them in order from greatest to least? Yes, they might. So you're going to have to be really careful. They might ask you to do reverse order sometimes. Okay, look at these 3 numbers. Which one's the least? 273. What's the next one? 480. And the greatest? 615. Very good. And we are finished, you guys.